This is Psalm 119 from the NIV version, third section, Gimel. This is the Son praying to the Father. Do good to your servant, and I will live. I will obey your word. Open my eyes that I may see wonderful things in your law. I am a stranger on earth. Do not hide your commands from me. My soul is consumed with longing for your laws at all times. You rebuke the arrogant who are cursed and who stray from your commands. Remove from me scorn and contempt, for I keep your statutes. Though rulers sit together and slander me, your servant will meditate on your decrees. Your statutes are my delight, they are my counselors. That's the end of verse 24. In verse 17, he asked for life. He says, do good to your servant. He also calls himself his father's servant there. And that is very important because he is the suffering servant. And then he says, and I will live. So he had confidence that he would live, even though he knew he had to die. And he ends that verse with, I will obey your word. So he's saying he will be obedient. None of us can say that. He's the only one who could be fully obedient to the law and the word and the testimonies, the precepts, because all of that required him to give his life. So there's no one else that can really pray that. He says, I'm a stranger on earth in verse 19. Do not hide your commands from me. So he's trusting in his Father to reveal to him what he needs to do to be obedient. He says he's consumed all the time for his Father's laws. He says, remove from me scorn and contempt, for I keep your statutes. Again, he's saying he's obedient. And removing from him scorn and contempt is the crucifixion, the cross, and ultimately death. And removing that was raising him from the dead. That's how the scorn and contempt and the suffering was removed, because it led to eternal life for him and us, people who believe in him. He says in verse 23, though rulers sit together and slander me, your servant will meditate on your decrees. Your statutes are my delight, they are my counselors. And that's entirely true, that he was slandered by rulers as he lived, and even today he's slandered by rulers and those who, are in charge on the earth. They still slander him even now. And he's even today fully obedient. But the law was to take him to the cross so that he could be raised from the dead and fulfill all things in the word, which is all about him.